Hello everyone, welcome back to 30 Yard Circle. It is an important day for Pakistan cricket in terms of the Champions Trophy campaign as the squad has been announced for the tournament. Lots of surprises, lots of names that are excluded, lots of names that are included, and probably the biggest one that we see in in the squad is Fahim Ashraf. But before that, as always, Aram is here with me, and for this we invited Talha because obviously we needed his thoughts as well. So a warm welcome to him as well. So we're gonna start with you first, up, Talha. What was your idea when you saw Fahim Ashraf's name? Because in my head, the all-rounders hierarchy had Fahim Ashraf pretty much down the order, not as the number one all-rounder in this country.
Yeah, I don't think he was even in the order for me. Honestly, I thought it was going to be Jamal as the pace all-rounder. या अगर थोड़ा स्पिन पे अगर हैवी जाना चाहते हैं तो अरफात मिनहास would have been his backup. But Fahim kind of came out of nowhere. He performed in the Bangladesh Premier League recently and got picked on that basis, I guess. लेकिन अगर थोड़ा टेक्निकली देखना है कि किस वजह से फ़हीम को प्रेफर किया गया शायद इसलिए कि जमाल is a very expensive bowler in white ball cricket. He's more of an enforcer like Haris Rauf. And he can bat as well, but Fahim is someone who can be more like tight with his line and length. Or अगर पिंडी जैसे ग्राउंड पे आपने चार पेसर्स खिलाने and you need some batting depth, so maybe that could be the thinking behind के he can slot in at 8. But honestly, I would not be surprised if this ends up being like a nothing burger and he just sits on the bench the whole tournament.
Okay, that actually makes sense because if we make the 11, we will do that towards the end. By the way, we don't see Fahim Ashraf as much. Aram, what was your thought? And do you think if Fahim Ashraf should have been selected on BPL performance?
यार आई वाज क्वाइट सरप्राइज टू बी ऑनेस्ट एज वेल सबके एक्सप्रेशंस एक ही जैसे थे व्हेन वी हर्ड फहीम अशरफ नेम स्पेशली जब ट्विटर पे शुरू के कुछ ट्वीट्स फीड पे देखे तो फहीम अशरफ का नाम बिकॉज वी weren't expecting him to be there. There were कुछ खबरें थी इधर उधर के इट वुड मे बी वी वुड हैव आमिर जमाल एंड हमने पहले भी पॉडकास्ट पे इवन ऑन एआरडी की बाकी शोज पे हमने बात की हुई है कि we always talked about playing Arafat Minhas earlier on in your uh, previous series ताकि आप उसको आगे प्रिपेयर कर सको फॉर द चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी बट फिर हमने ये बात डिस्कस की थी बिकॉज ही इज नॉट बीन प्लेड तो उसकी सिलेक्शन ज़्यादा चांसेस है कि ना ही बट वी डिड नॉट हैव इन माइंड कि कहीं से भी फहीम अशरफ वुड जंप इनटू द 15 एंड विल बी क्वेश्चनिंग हिज सिलेक्शन ओवरऑल और ये वाली जो बात है आई फील कि how well are you preempting the conditions that you're going to have in the country at the time when you're going to be playing the Champions Trophy because आप select तो सिर्फ एक match we've heard के वो कह रहे हैं कि they'll go with 4 paces maybe in Dubai when we play against India तो वो वाली जो logic है you're selecting a player solely for playing him in Dubai या if you're preempting के Pindi में will go with Fahim as our fourth pacer तो either you're making selections based on individual games or you're going for an overall balance in the squad ये वाले जो decisions है because it looks as if they're quite confused एक तरफ we heard Asad Shafi talking about bringing in some sort of experience into the squad because they felt के आई डो नॉट नो कि जो 20 जो लास्ट ईयर का वर्ल्ड कप था उसके बाद इनको एक्सपीरियंस रख के करना क्या है बिकॉज वहां पे भी यही वाला इन्होंने मंजन बेचा था कि वी आर हैविंग एक्सपीरियंस एंड इट डिड नॉट वर्क वेल फॉर अस तो दे आर नॉट लर्निंग फ्रॉम इट बट यही वाली बात कि इट विल ऑल द डस्ट विल सेटल डाउन इफ in the end he does not get a game and we go on with the players that we've thought about but still it was the most surprising thing for me that they went with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if I can say something about the point
yeah.
about preempting the conditions, I think इस बार we can't rely on Akib doctoring the pitches either क्योंकि ICC का consultant होगा so ये नहीं मतलब ये सोच के नहीं जा सकते कि कराची में ट्रेनिंग पिच बना देंगे और इस तरह होगा so
I mean, India ने जब वर्ल्ड कप होस्ट किया तब they were making all the pitches. So, I mean,
वो BCCI equals ICC वाला हो गया।
Maybe BCCI will be making the pitches this time as well in Pakistan.
बट
अब
पता तो चल
चेयरमैन ICC के
आइडिया तो
चेयर
हो, हाँ आइडिया तो आई थिंक हो ही जाना चाहिए इन लोगों को, बिकॉज होम कंडीशंस तो हैं कि दे नो इवेंचुअली कि किस तरह की पिचेस बनी, दे विल बी द मोस्ट अवेयर साइड्स आउट ऑफ एवरीवन एल्स, तो उस बारे में आई थिंक, बट स्टिल वी कांट से एनीथिंग, यू राइट कि कुछ भी हो सकता है।
Yeah, so the thing is that I can understand if they are making selections on individual games because games बहुत ज़्यादा कम है इसमें. So मतलब अगर वो if it is a World Cup, अगर आप 9 games खेल रहे होते group series में and then semi-final and final, then maybe you would argue that it's not a right way to go. But I can understand doing this here because 3 matches हैं and then फिर आपके semi-final final है. And फ़हीम अशरफ की जहाँ तक बात है, so what I read was कि they won't really trust Khushdil against India, and that is where Fahim Ashraf might come in handy. And उसका UAE में record is like much better than it's whatever it is in Pakistan
in
right
ODIs
now.
or T20s, because I don't think ODIs में he has a good
हाँ,
record
he
in.
hasn't actually played ODI में ज़्यादा, but again वो that's what I read on Twitter कि they are banking on his skills in UAE,
Yeah,
and the fact कि खुशदिल शाह जो है वो they want to hide खुशदिल
हाँ,
शाह against India.
it's more about saving Khushdil from the spin attack of India, क्योंकि they do not trust him against spin. वही वाली बात है कि एक player को बचाने के लिए they're going for the other ploy,
I would
which
not
is
trust Fahim. I would not trust Fahim against spin either. Like I would trust him less than
हाँ,
Christian.
I think it's also about खुशदिल शाह bowling ना because खुशदिल शाह
bowling, yeah, exactly.
अच्छा बॉलिंग को प्रोटेक्ट करना है देन या काइंड ऑफ वैलिड, लेकिन अगर आप फहीम को खिला रहे हो तो फिर आपको दूसरा स्पेशलिस्ट स्पिनर भी चाहिए. यू कैंट जस्ट गो विद अब्रार ऑनेस्टली दुबई में.
हाँ, yeah, exactly. And that is where I think we can move towards the spin wala part. के did we need Sufyan Mukim in the squad because he was there in the plans from a pretty valid time, काफी ज़्यादा देर से था वो, and जो है वो ये बात भी हुई थी कि he might actually be the number one spinner and play ahead of Abrar, but now he's been ignored. So what do you guys think about that? Because I know 15-man squad mein it's difficult to like include in everyone, but still, do you think Sufyan Mukim should be there, especially if we're playing a game in UAE too? You anyone can go. I think Talha, you can go.
Honestly, I would have picked Sufyan just because of the India game. क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली 3 पेसर्स तो पाकिस्तान में खिलाने ही है, 3 स्पेशलिस्ट पेसर्स. तो इफ़ यू हैव समवन लाइक फहीम हू कैन बैट एट 7 और इवन जमाल को भी पिक कर लिया होता, तो आई वुड हैव प्रेफर्ड अ सेकंड स्पेशलिस्ट स्पिनर जस्ट फॉर दैट गेम. और अगर कराची में भी सिमिलर कंडीशंस हो, स्लो पिच हो थोड़ी, तो फिर भी उधर भी यू कैन गो विद 3 स्पिनर्स, 2 स्पेशल लाइक अब्रार एंड सुफियान एंड आगा. So yeah, there is an oversight that I think should have been corrected. शायद एक बैटर की जगह तैयब ताहिर की जगह
Yeah.
सुफियान would have been good.
Exactly, and I think if you are hiding Khushdil against India, if that's the plan, obviously हमें पता नहीं है, but if that's the talk around town के they want to hide Khushdil against India, so Sufyan would have been a much better option than with आप इंडिया के अगेंस्ट जो है वो यूएई में 4 फास्ट bowlers खिलाएंगे probably. But Arham, what do you think so?
यार what I think is the theory ये है कि they're going for Rizwan utilizing Agha and Khushdil much better than what any other captain would have done. So what they're banking on is how he uses both of them. वो जो एक bowler, एक मेन बॉलर कम होने वाली बात है, द फोर्थ बॉलर, द फिफ्थ बॉलर, उस ऑप्शन को जिस तरह रिजवान ही मैनूवर्स हिज बॉलिंग अटैक इन अ वे कि वो जो वाला इफेक्ट कम हो जाता है, एंड उसके हिसाब से दे ट्राइंग टू स्ट्रेंथन देयर बैटिंग एज वेल. ये वाला आई थिंक इसमें रिजवान का दे माइट हैव हैड टॉक विद हिम कि हाउ इज ही प्लानिंग टू यूज हिज बॉलर्स. तो अगर सफियान, बिकॉज हमने अभी कुछ बल्कि इवन अ फ्यू वीक्स अगो वी ऑल हैड सफियान एज द प्राइमरी स्पिनर. द वे ही इज बीन प्लेइंग, जिस तरह ही इज बीन गिवन द चांसेस, इवन अबरार को इतना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं दिया गया था इन द रिसेंट पास्ट जितना सुफियान हकीम को दिया गया. वी सॉ इन साउथ अफ्रीका एज वेल. बट आई फील कि just purely because of the fact that Rizwan can utilize, take more out of Agha and Khushdil in tandem. So that worked against Sufyan. So I think ये वाला factor ज़्यादा play in कर रहा है इधर, rather than Sufyan himself not being up to the mark या उसकी अपनी जगह नहीं होने की बजाय कि दे फेल्ट कि ये वाला ऑप्शन ज़्यादा बेटर वेन करेगा. वी डू नॉट नो कि किस तरह प्ले आउट करता है, बट आई थिंक आइडिया बिहाइंड इट यही है कि रादर देन सुफियान नॉट बीइंग द बेस्ट, it's more about Agha and Khushdil doing well in tandem, better than what Sufyan's impact would have been.
That makes sense, and वो वही वाला I think ideology है इनकी कि if Shaheen and Naseem are bowling well at top and they are taking early wickets, so they'll just basically go for the kill with four bowlers. But yeah, it's interesting, and that really like makes us go towards the fast bowling wali conversation, and we have Shaheen, Naseem, Haris Rauf, and Mohammad Hassan. That's pretty much expected, but a lot of people are saying कि अगर आप if you are bringing people who have done well for you in the past, then why not Wasim Jr.? Because he has been sort of an ICC tournament specialist for you guys. 2022 का World Cup हो गया, 2023 का World Cup भी हो गया. So Talha, what do you think? Do you think it's a valid conversation या फिर it's pretty much I mean, it was decided कि ये चार ही होंगे हमारे हारिस, हसनैन, शाहीन and नसीम.
Honestly, इस टूर्नामेंट में वसीम जूनियर को इंक्लूड करने के लिए थोड़ा मार्जिन थोड़ा टाइट था, क्योंकि इतने ज़्यादा पेसर्स भी नहीं आप जा सकते, और पिछली सीरीज़ में ही वाज़ अनफिट एंड हसनैन डिड वेल. बाकी तीनों मेन पेसर्स ने तो मतलब उनकी जगह तो पक्की थी. तो एक्स्ट्रा पेस ऑल राउंडर की ही जगह थी एक की शायद, which is also debatable, but still Wasim Junior, I think अगर he had been fit in the past season, अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया साउथ अफ्रीका में खेला होता तो he would have been a guaranteed selection. लेकिन honestly, with his like recent form or fitness वगैरह, it's hard to see him being included unless like you had Shaheen at 7 or something like that, and then you could you could take him. लेकिन yeah, I think it's sad क्योंकि his like old bowling would have been really handy here, but then again we have like enough skill with the old ball among our current pacers as well. So honestly, I don't think Wasim Jr. will be missed much.
So with the old ball, Arham, do you think it's going to be like for Shaheen, Haris Rauf, and Naseem and Hasnan, basically all four of them covering the old ball wala part, right?
I think Shaheen will lead it towards the end as well, क्योंकि we have seen he can get the most out of the old ball as well. But उसके साथ I think बाकी तीन को rotate करेगा रिजवान. I think he'll look at what favors him in each game. ज़रूरी नहीं है कि I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a spinner at that stage as well. Just countering everything that's going around in within the game. But purely at the death overs, तो वो तो फिर we'll have Shaheen, and most likely I'll go for Naseem at that stage over Haris. You could bowl Haris out before the death overs, maybe keep one or two for him at the end. But I think interesting conversation Tala mentioned about Wasim Junior's ability at the death. I would see him, had there been a little more space in the squad. I agree with Tala, he would have been there, and his skills towards the end could have been much more handier for us, maybe over Hasnan as well. क्योंकि आप जो रोल देख रहे हो, that Hasnan will have to play in the middle overs, but if you're going with a combination of having two part timers alongside a regular spinner in form of Abrar, so फिर do you feel कि you'll get more out of your paces during the middle overs, or you'll need specialists towards the end, ताकि जो मेन पार्ट है आपका, जो स्टार्टिंग एट द एंडिंग, वो कवर हो, एंड मिडिल में यू विल मैन्यूवर थिंग्स थ्रू योर थ्री स्पिनर्स, क्योंकि आपने कोटा तो 20 ओवर का करवाना ही है उनसे. एंड व्हाट आई नो, आई थिंक रिजवान विल ट्राई टू गो अ बिट मोर टू क्रिएट मोर कुशन फॉर हिम. 20 ओवर्स से ज़्यादा he'll go for around 22-23 overs just to create a bit more cushion for him towards the end. So I think ऐसे उसमें maybe we would have had Wasim Junior, but फिर वही वाली बात कि there is not enough space within the squad. You are already tight on a bit of आपने spinners पे थोड़ा सा वो किया है, compromise किया है by not having another one in. तो फिर आप पेस ऑलराउंडर की ही जगह थी, एंड यू वेंट विद फहीम ओवर देयर. तो वही वाली बात हो जाती है कि it's a compromise that you have to make. But ये वाली बात that goes against Wasim Junior है, तला ने भी कही कि we haven't had to see much of him of lately, क्योंकि recently international तो we have seen almost nothing from him since the last World Cup, but उसके बाद भी domestically भी leagues में T20 में we have seen him here or there, but वैसे भी कुछ खास we haven't seen of him because he was injured और फिर वो carry कर रहा था काफी अरसे से.
I think there'll be वैसे you mentioned कि वो about the combinations that Rizwan will make in terms of the overs people are bowling, and I think there'll be a lot of you can say risk taking, but I would say smart captaincy. Okay, he will be sort of bringing fast bowlers early on as well to sort of get the wickets and get the innings done basically. But and अगर वो ना हो सका तो maybe spinners might have to bowl towards the end as well. But अब तक जितने भी हमारी series हुई है Australia and South Africa, our bowlers have proved that they're good enough to not let that happen. Uh, but
But
yeah,
हाँ, I think conditions here will play a different role because अभी जो हमने वो going for the kill वाली बात की थी with Pacers, it was predominantly in conditions where you know the pitches suited our Pacers. So you never know अगर यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा opposite game हो तो how he goes for the kill. Maybe they go with the spinners going for the kill. If you get a few early wickets and then in the middle overs you get more strikes via your spinners, तो यू क्रिएट दैट प्रेशर एंड मे बी एक एंड से दे यूज अ पेसर क्योंकि स्पिन तो करानी होगी एज मच एज वी नो द माइंडसेट ऑफ you know players come any team that is coming to the Champions Trophy in Pakistan सब ये जहन में रख के आ रहे हैं कि स्पिन फ्रेंडली कंडीशंस होंगी so I feel के it is a fact के we can't ignore it, we can't completely rely on our pacers. We know they're great pacers, they can extract the most out of any surface, and they'll do that. Maybe we'll go for the kill with them only. But I think spinners का रोल थोड़ा सा relatively ज़्यादा होगा इस दफा, and maybe we'll have to tweak our strategy with that regards.
Tara, how would you solve this jigsaw puzzle?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
How would you solve this? How would you make the combinations? And like वो जो बात है कि Rizwan might again take the risk by bowling fast bowlers early, and then अगर वो ना successful हो सके, so they might have to bowl spinners towards the end. But what I said was कि our fast bowlers have proven कि they are good enough to take the wickets and not let this kind of thing happen. But
हाँ,
I don't think
honestly, अगर गेम बाय गेम जाएं तो अ, कराची में or even in Dubai against India, it's not such a good idea कि you don't want Pandya facing like Agha at the death. Like you don't want that scenario at all. तो ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया साउथ अफ्रीका में ये कर सकते हैं कि you just unleash the fast bowlers and just hope that it works क्योंकि उधर it's more probable that it does happen if your pacers are bowling well. So either you have to bring in Abrar because he's also a wicket-taking bowler here. So there's also that dynamic. You need one pacer and Abrar for a while in the middle overs. और आगा और खुशदिल ने भी 10 ओवर करवाने हैं. So basically, like honestly, you have attack with Abrar and whatever pacer is like the best matchup at that point. Or beach may just squeeze whatever overs Agha and Khushdil can before the old ball. Like a pretty conventional strategy क्योंकि on these kind of surfaces वो जो अभी तक रिजवान ने tactics use किए हैं, honestly they're not going to work. I don't think so.
Makes sense. Okay, let's just sort of transcend towards batting because वहाँ पे भी जो है we finally I think sense has prevailed and Fakhar Zaman is back opening, and that was really really important considering Saim Ayub is missing this tournament. And yeah, so but the interesting part is about his partner. Now, I would feel that Abdullah Shafiq, I mean, he scored a century in a World Cup, and I mean, obviously, and we all know how talented he is. He's done well in Test cricket as well, and so, uh, I mean, yeah, he's not in form, so it's a double-edged sword. But I would have had him there instead of having a completely new opener in Saud Shakil or Babar Azam. But ये चीज़ अब हो चुकी है. So who do you guys would open with? Saud Shakil या Babar Azam? We can start with Arham, I guess.
यार एक तो पहले अब्दुल्ला वाली बात, because had this discussion been happening before the selection was made, so I would have also, I agree with you, I would have gone with Abdullah as well. uh, जो भी पहले गुजर गया, we know he's not on a very hot form और बाकी वो सारी चीजें, but he still has that talent of plus he'll complement Fakhr better, I feel. E- because we can't have a like for like replacement right now for Saim. So we go for the next best option, and I would have preferred Abdullah over Imam for that specialist opening position. There were talks about Shan coming in as well, but I think वो सारी rumors ही थी. उसके अलावा current scenario में if you look at the squad, I was just looking at if we do not play Saud as the opening partner to Fakhr, and we play him at the original position that he plays at. Plus, we are keeping, maybe Kamran Ghulam in as well, and we are opening with uh, Babar, for example. So that creates a different batting lineup for you, because आप ये देख रहे हो कि when is maybe Saud, or for that matter KG, coming into bat in the entire innings. अगर 40th ओवर के बाद, कंसिडरिंग द फैक्ट कि थिंग्स गो वेल, यू जो वही पाकिस्तान वे है कि फखर स्कोर्स बिग, he gets out, या scores fast and gets out, उसके बाद you have that stability knocks in the middle, you reach the 40th over mark, and then if Kamran Ghulam, or maybe for that matter so Shakil comes into bat, so who would you prefer? तो ये थोड़ी सी confusing element हो रहा था for me when I was making the 11. I was just forming it. So I thought कि if we play, वही जो बात चल रही है usually, if we have Saud open with Fakhr, so that opens up more opportunity and game time for people like Kamran Ghulam to make their impact into the game. अब वो वाली बात we'll talk about later, कि वो नियाजी वाली जो conversation that we had on quite some length in the previous podcast as well, and how we could have utilized him in those positions as well. But अब जो available resources हैं, I wouldn't mind either of Babar or Saud opening, but just to have a different element into it, some uniqueness, maybe go with Saud. Babar वाली बात भी है कि it won't hurt if Babar goes up a space, but South के लिए it will be quite a big change. But I don't think he'll shy away from that challenge. But because we do not have enough data to talk about it, कि who opens and who has a better record, because दोनों openers नहीं है, दोनों का different roles हैं within the team. Babar is closest to the opening slot, तो वो वाला argument आ जाता है. So इतना I haven't formulated such an opinion, but I wouldn't mind if either of them go up. But personal preference, I would go with South opening.
I mean, I would not go for Babar as the opener because, I mean, he's someone who, like, he will be in 11, he's going to play. And agar if he is playing, so you need to have him in his position that he's comfortable. And I won't like change Babar at all. And I feel like have seen this in ODI cricket and even in Test cricket that number fives actually like do open as well. Like Tommy Latham is like a huge example because he was an opener. He went to number five. He's also went back on number Kavi Kavaro as an opener. Then and Henry Nichols has also done that. Sorry, New Zealand के examples are रही हैं. But again,
Will
Alex
Young.
Carey, Josh Inglis, all these people. मतलब so
You missed Will Young also from New Zealand.
yeah, Will Young, yeah. Bairstow be like has done well at number five and as an opener. So me and while South Shakil wouldn't have been my preference, Abdullah Shafi would be my preference. But in this squad, it has to be South Shakil for me. What do you think, Tala?
Yeah, honestly, Abdullah Shafiq is like not in good enough form. Like, I understand like backing a player, but when you're making consecutive ducks, honestly, like he just needs some time off, and that was the right decision. The opener ki baat I think like there is a case for Babar to open. Honestly, looking at his and Saud's skill set, Saud is better, much better against spin, and Babar is much better against pace. तो अगर बाबर ओपन कर रहा है तो there's more of a chance of him well, not more of a chance, he's definitely going to face more pace bowling than spin bowling. And if Saud is our number three, I think Saud is a top three player in ODIs. At most, he's a number four. And if he's batting at three, then yeah, he can bat more in the middle overs as well. लेकिन ये फैसला करना है कि you want to disrupt Babar's position at such a crucial stage just before a major tournament. And I'm pretty sure that they will go with South opening based on his PSL performance while opening.
अच्छा, just a shout before we go on. They were uh, कुछ उड़ती उड़ती खबरें आई थी about in between about Rizwan, coming up and opening. So ये वाला option जो है, what do you guys feel कि, because I there is enough talk about him not being able to open well white ball cricket में, but that's predominantly about T20s. ODIs में, considering the combination that we're going to go with, because हम हमेशा वो बात करते थे, we said earlier on कि आगा bats a spot lower down than he has to, and similarly Saud की भी ये बात करते थे. So Rizwan going up basically solves that problem of ours. तो ये वाला जो ऑप्शन है, why can't we consider that?
या यार, एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग इसमें एक्चुअली एक बात है। 2021 में साउथ शकील व्हेन ही केम इनटू द साइड, ही मेड हिज डेब्यू अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड, एंड दैट वाज अ वेरी क्रेजी सीरीज वेयर पूरे इंग्लैंड के स्क्वाड को जो है वो कोविड हो गया था, एंड द पूरी फिर बैकअप टीम बनी थी उनकी। उसके बाद देयर वाज दिस होल कन्वर्सेशन अबाउट हाउ हाउ वी इंटीग्रेट साउथ शकील इन द ओडीआई लाइनअप। फिर वो बाद में नहीं उन्होंने इंटीग्रेट किया, बट देयर वाज दिस पर्सन हु सेड कि अगर आपने सऊद शकील एंड बाबर आजम को 3 and 4 पे रखा, you will have 10 years of an incredible partnership, a sort of a Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor wali partnership. And that person wanted Rizwan to go and open. And that person is Hassan Chima. So it's interesting that maybe they might be doing that if Hassan Chima has enough say. We don't know क्या dynamics is election committee के, but yeah, this is a good shout, I guess. What do you think, Talha?
Honestly, I think 21 से अब तक looking at like Babar then Babar now, I think he definitely would have changed his mind.
हाँ, ये
क्योंकि
भी
अगर बाबर 4 पे खेल रहा है तो he is gonna be like trapped by spin definitely.
no. The argument was कि बाबर number 3 पे खेले,
Okay.
you
Yeah, I
bring
understood.
in
Like
Saud
I
at 4
thought you said
and
Saud actually.
Rizwan को opening में भेजना.
That is actually not a bad idea. लेकिन if you remember 22 World Cup में Rizwan was very awful against early swing. Like he just like even playing in the offside against outswing, he used to fall over while trying to play on the front foot. So I don't know if that is such a good idea, honestly.
वैसे
हाँ,
वैसे
और
मूविंग मूविंग बॉल के अगेंस्ट तो सभी एक ही जैसे खेलते हैं, सब पाकिस्तानी ओपनर्स के बारे में कुछ कह नहीं सकते हम. किसी का पैर नहीं हिलता, एंड एट द
Ironically,
सेम.
Babar might be the best option there to play the moving
या
ball.
ये बात भी है, आई एग्री.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what I was saying, but I don't know. I actually forgot. It's very embarrassing that I just forgot. Good point. But let's just go towards an Irfan Khan Niazi wali conversation, because we backed a guy for like 2 years. But then the argument is if Khushdal Shah is there, we don't really need him. But at the same time, do we need Tayyib Tahir as a backup? Or Usman Khan as well? Talha.
हाँ, I remember a series in England जब हम सिर्फ सरफराज को लेके गए थे and no backup keeper. And like someone asked Inzamam, who was chief selector, that like
Yeah.
why don't you have a backup keeper? And he just said let's hope Sarfaraz doesn't get ill or something. So अभी home tournament में we have a backup keeper, which is surprising क्योंकि I didn't expect Usman to be there, and I thought Niazi would be the backup better. But they have Tayyib Tahir, who is supposedly middle order backup, and Usman is also like a top 4. So it does seem like there's not enough variety here. Like you need someone who can bat at 5, 6, 7 on the bench as well. And I guess Fahim Ashraf will play that role now. And yeah, I think who still deserves his selection definitely. He should have been in the ODI team all along. Maybe 23 World Cup maybe. He was dropped based on T20 form.
Yes.
Lekin honestly, I would have preferred Irfan Khan over Tayyib Tahir.
हाँ, but बट वैसे वन थिंग दैट आई एम सीइंग इज कि इस स्क्वाड में वी टेक्निकली हैव अ बैकअप फॉर एवरीथिंग एक्सेप्ट द लोअर ऑर्डर हिटर वाली पोजीशन आई गेस. इसके अलावा आई थिंक ऑल द स्पॉट्स आर बीइंग फिल्ड, इवन द विकेट की बैकअप विकेट कीपर इज बीइंग फिल्ड, जो कि एक्चुअली एक 15 मैन स्क्वाड में करना बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता है. बट द क्वेश्चन इज कि आर वी जस्ट लाइक चेकिंग द बॉक्सेस, या फिर आर वी ट्राइंग टू मेक अ बैलेंस स्क्वाड? बिकॉज at this point the kind of playing 11 जो बन रही है उसके बाद जो bench बन रही है that's not as good, right?
हाँ, आई थिंक ऑनेस्टली लाइक आई वुड बेट के शायद एक या दो चेंजेस के अलावा प्लेइंग 11 वही रहेगी. एज यू मैंशनड दे माइट प्ले फहीम अगेंस्ट इंडिया, तो हो सकता है कि दैट माइट बी द ओनली चेंज इन द होल टूर्नामेंट अनलेस देयर इज एन इंजरी, क्योंकि छोटा सा टूर्नामेंट है, लाइक यू कैन प्ले 4 or 5 games at most.
Hmm. And
बट
Aram, yeah, yeah,
हाँ, ये जितने ये इम्पल्सिव लोग हैं, आई थिंक कि ये उस्मान इज नॉट ओनली देयर एज अ बैकअप विकेट कीपर बट ही इज आल्सो देयर एज योर बैकअप ओपनर. आई थिंक
yeah.
जितने जितने इम्पल्सिव माइंडसेट्स इनके हैं, आई डोंट थिंक कि दे विल परसिस्ट लॉन्ग इनफ विद फेलियर्स फॉर योर मेकशिफ्ट ओपनर. इवन इफ इट्स सऊद और बाबर, बाबर को तो नीचे ले आएंगे बट सऊद बेचारे के साथ आई डोंट थिंक के दे हैव, ये ना हो कि इफ सऊद फेल्स अप टॉप so they get him out of the side and replace him with Usman Khan as your opener. So I do see this going to happen later on. अगर if अल्लाह ना करे ये हो, बट इफ दिस हैपेंस आई थिंक कि
ऐसे
सिर्फ विकेट कीपर स्लॉट फिल करने के लिए बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन लिया है इफ दे हैव केप्ट उस्मान देयर. क्योंकि एज तला सेड के होम सीरीज में 2019 वर्ल्ड कप था, इफ आई रिमेम्बर करेक्टली, तो वी ओनली वेंट विद सरफराज देयर. और वही वाली इंजमाम वाली कोर्ट के लेट्स जस्ट होप you've gone to England and you are just hoping on your captain and wicket keeper to stay fit throughout. कुछ भी इंजरी हल्का सा निगल भी ना हो, if he has to go on again, तो वे फखर से कीपिंग कराने वाले थे ये लोग. तो वही वाली बात अभी है. हाँ, तला यू सेइंग समथिंग.
yeah, like उस वर्ल्ड कप से पहले एक्चुअली रिजवान मेड लाइक 200s अगेंस्ट ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड दे स्टिल
Hmm.
पिक्ड मलिक ahead of him. और एक और चीज़ मैंने ऐड करनी थी कि वन थिंग वी हैवंट मेंशन्ड कि अभी ट्राई सीरीज भी होनी है, तो शायद इसमें दे विल
हाँ.
लाइक फाइन ट्यून द लाइनअप एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड कि आई डोंट थिंक चेंजेस ज़्यादा होंगी चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में, क्योंकि दे विल मेक द चेंजेस नेसेसरी बिफोर इन द ट्राई सीरीज.
वैसे उस्मान खान ने लिस्ट ए में पाकिस्तान ए के जो गेम्स थे उसमें ओपनिंग की थी, so I mean
We
that
haven't discussed the possibility that Usman might be the opener alongside Fakhar.
हाँ, damn, yeah, that's I mean, yeah, so South will sit on the bench then. Okay, so we're speaking of the bench. Let's just like make the playing 11 at this point. So, I think we all agree that it's going to be Fakhr. Who do we have the final vote on as the other opener?
Yeah, I'll go with Saud, definitely.
Yeah,
Agreed, agreed.
yeah, I would also go with Saud, I guess. And then Babar at three. I think we have consensus on that. Rizwan is at four as captain, consensus. Number five का जो spot है, I think so. One approach can be कि आप जो है वो सलमान अली आगा को number five पे खिलाएं, which is actually his rightful spot. And then number six पे you play Khushdil, and number seven पे you play a genuine all rounder, which is going to be a Fahim इस squad के हिसाब से. But they are not going to do that. And the fact that Khushdil bowls as well, they will like they won't do ये वाली चीज. So I think it's going to be Kamran Ghulam at five. They will play Kamran Ghulam. They love Kamran Ghulam.
I think that like 60 of 30 has bought him a lot of leeway. He's gonna be like
Actually,
the
ये भी हो सकता है कि they play Salman Ali Agha ऊपर and Kamran Ghulam नीचे after that innings.
yeah. I don't think honestly, क्योंकि Agha has been at 6 ever since he started playing ODIs. So
Okay, makes
he
sense.
just
Yeah.
stay there.
Makes sense, yeah. Okay, we have Salman Liaga. Number seven is going to be Khushdal, of course. For the India game, we might see Fahim though, right?
Honestly, that's fine. Like if you wanna India, like they're gonna hit spin pretty well too. If you have an extra pacer there, it's fine just to
Hmm.
cover those five
हाँ,
six balls.
एक और बात, when you're having one of Fahim or Khushdil in the 11 at this spot as well, so that opens up another gateway for you because you have a lefty in the side who can sort of go up the order at different stages. वो
वो तो
T20 में तो हम
शाहीन
बात
है वैसे,
करते हैं।
शाहीन है वैसे भी वो।
हाँ। वो शाहीन वाला रोल जो T20 में शाहीन से करवाते हैं, वो इधर ओडीआई में वी कुड हैव दैट रोल फ्रॉम वन ऑफ देम, सिचुएशन के हिसाब से ऑब्वियसली, बिकॉज साउथ इफ ही मूव्स अप द ऑर्डर एंड ओपन्स द इनिंग्स, तो बीच में तो वी आर स्टक विद ऑल राइटीज ना। तो वही वाली बात के वो जो बेसिक्स ऑफ द गेम्स है कि आप यू हैव लेफ्ट हैंड एंड राइट हैंड कॉम्बिनेशन जस्ट टू ट्रबल द ऑपोजिशन बॉलर्स, तो वो वाला एलिमेंट भी ओपन अप होता है। आई थिंक कि फहीम की सिलेक्शन विद अलोंगसाइड खुशदिल शाह, एक ये वाली भी बात है बिकॉज बोथ आर लेफ्टीज, तो वो लाइक फॉर लाइक रिप्लेसमेंट इन दैट मैटर एज वेल, कि टीम कॉम्बिनेशन ना डिस्टर्ब हो बैटिंग लाइनअप के हिसाब से। हैड दे गॉन फॉर आमिर जमाल तो फिर वो थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी हो जाता है इनको बैलेंस करना, फिर वो शाहीन वुड हैव बिकम देन योर प्राइम बैटर, उसको प्रमोट करते हैं जो भी सीन होता है। बट आई थिंक ये वाला भी इनके बिकॉज वी नो हसन चीमा का थोड़ा बहुत इनपुट तो होगा, ये वाला डिसीजन माइट हैव बिन हिज फ्रॉम हिज इन्फ्लुएंस, एक ये फैक्टर भी था।
I think we actually might see a similar dynamic with Akshar Patel in the Indian squad. Okay. उसके बाद we have Shaheen, Naseem, and Haris, and Abrar as our spinner. So I think what we are seeing here is that it will be Tayyab, uh, Fahim, Usman Khan, and Hasnain on the bench. Then I guess. Yeah. So what are predictions in terms of this squad? Obviously, it will probably be changed after the try series. But mm, do you think अगर हमारी playing 11 एक बार set हो जाए and they gel in, do you think we can do well? Even if we go game by game, we might not defeat India, but like, can this team defeat New Zealand and Bangladesh?
आई थिंक जिस तरह के क्राइसिस चल रहे हैं इंडिया में, लाइक इट्स नॉट इम्प्लॉसिबल दैट वी बीट इवन इंडिया। लाइक द क्लिप्स फ्रॉम द रणजी ट्रॉफी आर प्रीटी
Yeah.
प्रॉमिसिंग। तो आई थिंक द फर्स्ट गेम विल सेट द टोन। अगर न्यूजीलैंड को हरा दो तो देयर इज अ गुड चांस टू मेक द सेमीज, और देन अगर मोमेंटम हो जाए, आखिरी ग्रुप गेम इज अगेंस्ट बांग्लादेश, यू कैच द मोमेंटम देयर एंड यू गो इनटू home semi-final, so there's no way to like deny you can, we can definitely win.
I don't
But
know why.
I'll make like a proper prediction
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
tries. Okay, it's too early now.
Yeah, makes sense, but I don't know why. मुझे न्यूजीलैंड से बहुत डर लग रहा है. I think it's going to be either New Zealand and India or New Zealand Pakistan. They're just too good in ICC trophies. They never have the best team, but they just do something. हमेशा.
And they've won ODI series in Pakistan as well.
Yeah,
हाँ.
we plus that Mark Chapman effect. I was looking at Jared Kimber's video the other day. Emad ने भेजी थी, and he talked about how he loves playing ODI cricket in Pakistan, and it just goes up to just seeing how New Zealand will do later on. But I think in New Zealand does have that capability. I agree with Talha कि हमारे chances हैं to going into the semis if we manage to defeat them in the first game. India वाला it's always 50-50. I don't think India वाला anyone can predict क्योंकि उस Pakistan versus India is 90% game day, and 10% prep. So you can prep all you want, but at that day, any one player can take the game away. We saw that in Champions Trophy 2017 final wala din bhi. It's just a good spell plus a good innings and you win the game. It's such high stakes game. But I feel that over time the competition between the teams came closer, especially T20s में. दोनों तरफ से things improved. ODI में still there is a big gap between the quality, but जो अभी थोड़ा सा इंडिया के लिए नेगेटिव है, it's the fact कि थोड़ा सा वहाँ crisis चल रहा है, as Tala talked about. Very promising images. आज वाली भी, Shaheen will be hoping against hope कि he can do something of similar sorts. But yeah, I feel इस स्क्वाड के साथ obviously it's too early to say because कुछ players ऐसे हैं who we haven't seen in the national kit for the last year or so, and they're making essentially a comeback into the team. So unless we see them play as a Pakistani player again, तो वो वाली बात है कि we can't say anything. So let's wait for the Trice series to get over, and I think we'll have to have a few changes in between. Uh, it's never smooth sailing when Pakistan is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is about it from our review of the Pakistan squad, which we have sort of concluded it might change. It might very well change. So we might be doing another video on the changes. But yeah, that is about it with 30 yard circle. I'm stealing the last tweet, but we will be waiting for Saud's Rams against Bumrah. But yeah, that's about it. We'll see you
And
in the
even
next.
more than that, hoping that Bumrah is injured.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, Bumrah actually might not play the group stages.
Yeah, maybe he'll do that. Then South will do that in the final. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. Fakhar Zaman ka repeat hoga inshallah. But yeah, that's about it. We'll see you in the next one.